recording. Okay, good. So the other thing is this. I also posted the distance learning expectations. And from what I can see, it looks like we're all ready to go. We got our uniforms on. We're in a place that we can handle our learning. And I think we're good to go. What else? When you go to the home page, if you guys look, again, this student course schedule is what we're doing this week. Then also on the very bottom, what we have here, we have some other buttons. We'll look at the Kokua button later, but if you look, Zoom links. Right here, I put the Zoom links with the password at the very bottom, so you don't have to go searching for them. Okay, I'm hoping that this is helpful. Okay, yeah? Okay, so there's that. Alrighty, let's get started. I'm just gonna call, this is kind of a big class, so I'm going to just call on a couple of people. Let's call on Diesel first of all. Diesel, how you doing?
Good.
Good. You mind sharing your favorite part of the essay?
My favorite part was when Nainoa Thompson's father said, "Never allow your community to be defined and split off by geography or by race. Hold them together by common vision and shared values."
Right, and go ahead and expand on that. Why is that part, why did that part jump out at you?
Because it relates to a lot of what's going on right now in the world.
Right, we're stronger together. Yeah, we're definitely stronger together. Thank you for sharing. Let's go with Damien. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Okay, good. Go ahead and share something with us, something that, you know, jumped out at you.
One part that jumped out at me is when the grandma was trying to like tell her to be proud of who you are, even though, you know, if society doesn't agree with you.
Right, we talked about the Civil War within her, yeah? Quite interesting. Yeah, hopefully you spend the time with your grandparents, talking stories with them, knowing their stories so that you can pass on their stories to your mo'opuna one day, yeah? Okay, and then let's go with Becca. Hi, nice glasses, those are cool.
The one that jumped out to me was when Nainoa talked about how many more deep sea voyaging canoes there were and the growth of the Native Hawaiians, and yeah.
Thank you for mentioning pages like 160 and above, okay? You're telling me that you went and read basically the whole thing, right? So that's on page 175. If you guys go to page 175, Papa Mao and Nainoa get into these like mindsets, right? They're super frustrated. They're super almost angry as well because they're understanding that time is passing, right? And this traditional knowledge of navigating is disappearing, right? It's kind of like Beauty and the Beast, right? Where like the rose petals keep falling off. You guys know what I'm talking about? Like time is melting away, right? And they can see it with their own eyes. And if you look, right, on page 175, right, he's talking about how Hokulea was the very first one. Before Hokulea, there were 0, right? Ole, nothing, right? And so because of Hokulea, now they have, go ahead and highlight the number. They're somewhere around 17 or 18 voyaging canoes, right? The Va'akaulua. Very cool, all right? So for you guys, metaphorically, I would like you guys to consider yourselves to be your own Hokulea, right? And what is it that you're going to make sure is passed on? And what is it that you're going to make sure is you're setting in motion, right? You are person 0. What are you going to inspire the rest of the world to do so that there are 17 or 18 of you out there in the universe, right? Okay, Kayla, how you doing?
I'm good.
Have we recovered from staying in period 1 for the entire day. Okay, go ahead and point something out. Thanks for keeping your comments to yourself.
On page 175, it said, Papa Mouse said, Nainoa, it's too late. I'm too old. My children have too much to learn. No more time, and all great navigators know the way out. And that stuck out to me because he was like telling Nainoa like he has to take like on the like he has to like take a time of leadership for himself. And yeah.
Cool. Thank you for mentioning that ever repeating word of leadership, right? Being a KS student, that's the words you're probably going to hear the most, besides like, I don't know, Pawahi, Kamehameha schools, right? We're blessed, whatever, right? Is that this thing called servant leadership. How can we serve our community so that it's better, right? We've been given this opportunity. How do we make it better? Yeah. So, hi, Maddie. How are you?
Good.
Good. Right. So, this idea of Papa Mouse saying, you know what, it's too late already. I'm too old. My kids don't want to learn at this point how to be a navigator. So I'm going to plant that seed in Hawaii, right? And so when his kids or his people are ready to learn the ancient knowledge of celestial navigation, he can come back to the people of Hawaii to relearn that trade, right? So for you, what is it that you are learning to pass on to the next generation in your ohana? Maddie, did you freeze?
Oh, sorry. I thought you. I
No, I'm
didn't know.
asking you, Maddie. Yeah.
Okay.
What is it like? What are you learning about that you can pass on to your ohana, like in the future?
Since my family is not really that much cultured, I guess to pass down like the stories that I've learned from here,
Very good.
the experiences that I've learned here, so to tell my family members about that.
Yeah, very cool. Right. So for you guys, I mean, some of you guys are like the chosen one, right? You guys are the ones that are going to get to know all of these like facts and history and perspective, and it's up to you to kind of like bleed it out into your family, right? That's a really good point. Thank you. Anybody else learning about maybe how to build a rock wall, or learning how to fish or hunt and or prepare? Yeah, what about you, Nai?
Yeah, my parents they attempted to teach me
What?
how to hunt and fish
Really? Did you like it?
when I was younger.
Okay, and now? What, the
No.
smell?
No, I just, blood. I can't handle blood.
Oh, yes. Okay, yeah. Interesting. Okay, anybody else? Niao, how you doing?
I'm good.
Okay. We usually supposed to see you, but if you got things going on, all good, okay?
Okay.
Yeah. What about you? What jumped out at you? What was something from this essay that you would like to highlight?
When he said to tell this story, it was not always about success. To be asked to tell you the story, I'll tell you the truth.
Right. That's a solid detail.
Because,
Can you like further explain it?
okay, so it stood out to me because it shows that like sometimes it's not always gonna be good news. Yeah.
Right. It's not gonna be pretty, right? We're talking about the past, we're talking about the present, we're talking about like the realness of life. So yeah, it's not gonna be pretty all the time, right? And sometimes we gotta fail to move forward. Like this quarter, it might not be the best quarter for you, but you're gonna learn along the way what works for you. Right, Anela, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Okay, what about you? Can you highlight something from this essay?
While reading this essay, something that popped out to me was when I know considered quitting, Papa Mao left him, and he was scared and was in need of leadership. And the quote is, "Boy, don't talk about quitting. It's your time. Take the hokulea home," on page 164. That popped out to me because it kind of like relates to me, because like I always like want to quit when I give up, and then my dad always tells me like not to give up. So it's kind of like it relates to me and my dad.
Right. I think that line alone, everybody popped up, like somebody in their life who tells you, you got to keep going. What are you doing? Right? Whether that's your own voice in your head or somebody significant in your life.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Yeah. Let's move on. Okay. Anybody else want to share something before we move on? Taya, you good? Emily, what about you?
My favorite part was when Nainoa's dad said, "We know you need to go find Tahiti. We'll be there when you let go of the lines, and we'll be there when you arrive," because he needed that push of encouragement after Eddie died.
Right. Eddie's death was something that I hope none of us have to swallow, yeah, like in our own personal lives. But that was basically his rock bottom. He couldn't see people. He was shame, right? Shame is a heavy weight. Yeah. He made some mistakes and he needed somebody to dig him out, right? Just like what happened with that older mentor, where he was like, "Come on, boy, we gotta go," right? I mean, we all need that person in our lives. Okay, Miss Gu, how are you? You got something you want to share? Good. Okay. All right. Let's move on so that we can kind of talk about, I want to move on to kind of like your assignments. We got to clean up last week because it was, first of all, crazy, right? We thought we were going to school and then we didn't, right? And then next you guys had to go to campus to grab your materials, which some of you guys have, correct? Most of you guys have? I think, Anela, we getting it to you, no worries, girl. We get them. Okay. All right. So let's kind of move on. Go to your modules. So I noticed, and I'm not going to point people out, okay, but I noticed that some of you guys didn't finish your work. And so that's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of telling, okay? So what I'm gonna do is after today, so I want you to finish today and then email me when you're done, okay? But when you go to the modules and you click down and go to the module 1 discussion on Eho Imau, okay, you guys see that? When I scroll down, I cannot see, if I don't see your name, that's most likely because you didn't add to the discussion. Is that correct? Okay, so if you forgot to do that, okay, it's worth 5 points. Don't forget to add to that discussion and then respond to 2 people. Can? Okay, because a lot of you guys in this class in particular forgot to add that to the discussion. So if you need to write it down somewhere, add to discussion module 1, go ahead and write it down right now. Okay, it's due by tonight. Okay, so right when we're done with class, finish this module. The next module that I noticed people weren't completing was the response to Eho Imau. Okay, and so there might be a little bit of confusion on how to submit that assignment. Who did it? Let me see. Who did it? Rebecca, can you walk the class through what you're supposed to do? You got to click on what? You got to click off of mute first.
You have to click the submit assignment, the blue button, and then you can type.
Yeah, so like some of the kids were like, I don't know where to put the assignment. And I was like, did you click on the blue button, right? And once you click on that blue button, then this beautiful text box opens up, and that's where you're gonna type like crazy. Thank you, right? And then submit your assignment. Okay, all good. All right, what I'm doing is I'm just kind of checking to see if you know how to properly respond. So what I did was the people that actually turned it in, so if you guys check it out, go ahead and check out your assignment. I graded the assignments that were turned in already. It's only worth 10 points because it's like a starting point. So I want you to learn from your mistakes, obviously. So what you have here is if you got a 9 out of 10, which some of you guys did get, that means like maybe you did something real minor, okay? You still got an A for the assignment, but maybe you forgot to add page numbers, but you added direct quotes, okay? Or maybe you got a 7 out of 10 because you forgot to add direct quotes, but you were talking about parts of the essay. Okay, so just to kind of go through this with you. If you got an 8 out of 10, then you probably mentioned something really specific, but forgot to put quotation marks or the page number, something like that. Okay, everybody clear? So just check out your assignment. I graded it. Some of you guys are not capitalizing names. Okay, so if it's a name of something, it has to be capitalized. Like Hokulea has to be capitalized. Papa Mao has to be capitalized. Any names of people or things or places. Okay, all right, so that's that. Any questions? I'm going to review how to embed quotes, but we'll do that in just a bit. Okay. All right, so those are the 2 things. If you need to finish those up, you need to make sure you do it by today, okay? What I'm gonna do by Friday is I'm going to upload your first set of grades, okay? So as you guys know, if you only have like 2 or 3 assignments and you don't do one, what happens to the grade, right? It totally tanks, and then your parents are gonna freak out. So we need to make sure that you guys get all those grades in, right? So there's a 5-point discussion, the 10-point response, and then we have things coming up this week, okay? All right. How many of you guys started reading The Glass Castle, right? So if you were stuck in my room on Wednesday, you probably finished already, right? Up to page 151. Okay, so let's go to module 1.1. Everybody go to their module, go to 1.1. Okay, I'm gonna ask for, I guess I'm gonna ask, let's see, Emily, I'm gonna ask for your honest opinion, and feel free to be really honest, but you know how the modules are set up per week? Is this helpful?
Yeah.
Like it makes sense. Like if you just go first one, second one, third one, pow. Okay. If you have like, if any of you guys are confused at how this works, please email me so we can figure things out. Okay. Because I don't want this to be like, oh, this is new, and so that's why my grades are junk. Like I want you guys to make sure that you understand how this works. Okay, so 1.1, let's go to the introduction of family. Everybody there? Okay, and we're just gonna walk through the slides together. So here we go. So as you guys know, The Glass Castle is a story about family. What is a family, right? So this is the typical denotation of family. Denotation meaning the dictionary definition. And that is a group consisting of parents and children living together in a household, right? We know that for sure, right? When we click on the next slide, everybody with me on the slides? Yeah. When we click on the next slide, these are like more metaphoric or definitions that we would probably come up with on our own, right? Family, one of life's greatest blessings, right? a unit of people that love and support each other through good times and bad, right? And then the other one on the right, you can read for yourself. In your notebooks, what I want you to do is I want you to come up with maybe a 2-sentence definition of what family is to you. Go ahead and define it on your own. And then we're going to share out in just a bit. So let's make sure you guys are ready to go. Be as honest as possible. 2 to 3 sentences. Okay, how are we doing? Can we finish up here? You need more time? Okay. Niao, I sent you a message in the chat, so if you could just check it out, please. All right, let's get going here. Where are you? Kaluka, let's have you go, Kalukalani. Just for you.
I don't really know because it was kind of complicated. You know?
So like in general, family to you is what? Does it have to be blood related?
No.
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 Can friends turn into family?
Yeah.
Yeah, not everybody, but some, right?
Not everybody.
Yeah, if you play sports, maybe teammates can be family sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? that defines family for you? Okay. Okay. All right. Damien, let's have you go. Go ahead and share out. Go ahead and add.
I said family is people who support you and love you no matter what. And they'll always have your back and help you get back up in your lowest point in life.
Right. They're supposed to have your back, right? Is it like that all the time? Well, it's supposed to be, but sometimes that's just not how it goes, right? I mean, it's just, our family members are people too, and they're not perfect, right? So there's always that like, that like space of forgiveness that we need. Yeah. So let's go with Thea. What about you? Go ahead and share out.
Family to me is people who encourage me and support me through whatever. They believe in me and help me when I can.
Yeah.
I need it.
Right. That's the lucky version, right? That's what I know for a family to be, right? What else? Anybody got a different definition of family, like something, I don't know if it's more real, but maybe more raw than real, I guess. Family. Yeah.
Family is a group of people that you can fight with one day and the next day be best friends with.
Truth. There you go. Let's open up the truth machine here. Okay, what else do you know that family is? Right, yeah, full on beef out, right? Full on argue. But then next thing you know, you're still hanging out, right? But then if somebody were to argue with your family member, you better watch out, right? That's just how it goes. Like only I can talk to my twin like that, you know? Okay. Nai, what about you? Do you have something else to add?
I said that family is people who are always there for you throughout all your hard times. May not always see eye to eye, but in the end, they're always there to support you.
Right. That sort of unconditional love. Like, even though you irritate me, I'm still gonna love you because I can't break up with you, right? You can't just like disown people. That's just how it goes. Anybody else want to add something to this? No, we're good. Okay. So the reason why we talk about this is because there's other sources of that feeling of family, right? So like with Nainoa Thompson and his hui of watermen, right? They become what you would call like ohana va'a, right? They're part of this like family of canoe people, right? With school even, right? I mean, I hope that you look at each other, you know, on the screen, even though we're not in person. I mean, I hope you look at each other on the screen and you think, you know what? We gotta be more than just classmates, you know, like we're all going through the same experience all together. For me, I run my class as if we're all one big family. Yeah, so you mess with my students, watch out. Mama Bear, Auntie Bear is coming out. I don't know what you want to call me, okay? But Miss Kabatu is good. All right, so when we transition to the Glass Castle, what do we know about their family? So let's get into our packet, right? And that first part. So where is my Anela? Anela, so what you gotta do is I guess I uploaded, okay, the packet for you. Okay. Where is it? Anela, if you go into module 1.1 and then the introduction to family, no, it's not there. Where did I put it? I put it somewhere. There's a packet. I think it's the last part, the last piece in the module. Yeah, it is. It's a Glass Castle packet. If you click on that, Okay, Anela, can you click on that? Did you see what I'm talking about? Okay, so you should see the character map. Okay. So as we go through this, we're gonna start adding to this map because some of us have read already, and then the rest of you guys will catch up with us later. Okay. Before we move on, if you guys go back into your Canvas and into your modules, and then the introduction to family, now is a great time to grab your planner. Okay, you grab your planner, and we want to go all the way to the last slide. So the last slide is going to keep you honest. That is basically the schedule. Okay, so grab your planner. Okay, so by next week, what page should you be on? Grab your planner. Okay. So next week you should be on page, I believe it's 101, am I right? Anybody finish all the way up to page 51? Okay, good. Right, Maddie was like on a mission during our lockdown. Okay, I think Maddie, you can agree with me that the reading is pretty quick, right? And it's because we're gonna see this entire craziness happen in front of our eyes. Okay, so as we get started, I just want you guys to make sure you have all the dates so you know exactly which page number you have to get to. So by next week, 102, 101. Can, right? Okay. Now, are you good? Do I need to give you some time? You guys good? Write down those page numbers, flip through your planner. So it looks like in 4 weeks, we'll be done with this book. Some of you guys might be done with it earlier. That's fine. Just make sure you're ready to discuss the certain section. Okay. So let's look at this packet, right? So as we go through the beginning part of the book, you're going to be adding to the character map, right? So let's just kind of review this. Who's Rex Walls? So next to the bubble for Rex Walls, what should you write down? You guys are killing me. Damien, who's Rex Walls?
For the Glass Castle, right?
It's okay if you didn't start reading it. I'm just trying to start you guys off here.
I have no idea who that is.
Huh. Who knows? Maddie, who is Rex Walls?
The dad?
Hey, the dad. So write down dad next to Rex Walls so that we get a feel of the characters. Okay, next, Brian Walls is the brother. Okay, younger brother to Jeanette. Jeanette is the main character or the narrator of this memoir. Okay, Maureen is the baby sister. Lori is the older sister. So that means Rosemary Walls is the who, Maddie? Who's Rosemary Walls? Do you remember?
The mother?
Yes, her mom. Write down mom next to Rosemary Walls and write down, I wonder what you could call her. Stereotyping is bad, but she's kind of like a hippie-ish, okay? And she also likes for her kids to learn their own lessons. It's crazy. Who read the beginning part? Anybody? Nobody yet? Where's Diesel? Diesel. The beginning part. What's the opening like? The exposition. What is it like?
She burned herself cooking hot dogs.
Right, at 3 years old, right? Before that, though, before the flashback to her being 3 years old, we learn about the end of the book, right? We know that at the end of the book, she's in a taxi cab in her hoity-toity upper class clothes in a taxi cab going to some party, right? And what happens is she sees her mother dumpster diving. Okay, not good. And that drives the whole story because you want to just figure out what's going on with the situation. Okay, so you can write down next to Jeanette Walls, she made it, right? She ends up being successful. The first like 2 pages, the first page, you realize that Jeanette Walls made it. Then the next chapter, which is like, the first chapter is super short. Then the next chapter warps you back into time, right? For her being 3 years old, cooking hot dogs on a gas stove, and her dress like flies up with the breeze and it catches on fire. And that begins her story. It is nuts what happens in like the first 20 to 30 pages. People fly out of cars. People are running away from the bill collectors, the so-called FBI. So you guys gotta jump into this book. It's nuts, okay? That's the characters. Can you guys turn to the next page? Okay, so the next page is setting, right? The time and place. So it's broken up. The setting chart is kind of broken up into basically the sections of the book, right? So the woman on the street. Let's go ahead for fun. Open up a new tab, and I want you to launch Google Earth. Raise your hand if you've been to New York City. Oh, cool. Tia, why'd you go there?
East Coast trip for elementary school.
You went to the East Coast during elementary school? That's nuts. Wow. Okay, cool. So tell us what New York is like. So go ahead, get into Google Earth, launch it, and then search for New York City. Yeah. So I don't know how many movies we've seen with New York City, but we can basically guess that New York City is a huge metropolitan area, right? Skyscrapers, choke people, pizza, Broadway with the plays, right? Famous people live there, right? So are you guys in Google Earth? You're in New York? Okay, now at the bottom of that screen, find that little man and click on the little man. And then you're gonna fly down to the earth, right? Then you can go ahead and walk around New York City. You guys good? So what I'm asking you to do is any place she goes, I want you to Google Earth it. Okay, so let's compare that to Blythe, California. So go into the search engine. Okay, type in Blythe, B-L-Y-T-H-E. Put the name in the chat. So Blythe, California. Go ahead and walk around that area. What do you know? What do you see? What do you notice? If you had to describe Blythe, California, what would you describe it as?
Desert.
Okay, desert. You don't really see too many like trees, right? And in that city area is green, but outside the city area, you see desert, right? Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's see if we can kind of zoom in to the middle of Blythe. Look, you can see the Blythe DMV. Very interesting. What else? Ooh, is that a Walmart? Okay, there's an elementary school. Oh, I see a pool. Couple pools. Let's drop down. Wow. Okay. So what do we see? Do we see any big buildings in Blythe? Okay. So what I'm gonna have you guys do is really like use your critical eye and analyze, right? Why would they move? Like even San Francisco would be like real similar to New York. Anybody been to San Francisco? One of my most favorite places to visit. So cool. Go ahead and Google Earth San Francisco and walk around there. Okay. So you're gonna notice that they move to places where they can be anonymous, where they can kind of hide from the next town over. Kind of interesting. And so when you look at a place like San Francisco or even New York, like you can live a pretty anonymous life because there's so many people, right? But then when you move to a place like Blythe, if you're trying to run away from something or someone, you can probably blend into a town like that just because it's a small town, okay? Or not, you could really stand out. Either way, right? So there's that. I'm gonna have you guys use Google Earth. So could you guys star that, you know, in the web address? Go ahead and bookmark it so that you have it ready to go. Okay? All right. Let's just kind of transition to page 4 in your booklet. So page 4 in your booklet, let's look. We have some guiding questions. I'm not going to ask you to write incomplete sentences. This is for you to guide through your reading, right? So these questions basically point out important parts of the book, right? So are the characters in conflict with the setting? Okay, maybe, maybe not. You gotta determine that. What do the characters want? Does the setting keep them from getting what they want, right? Number 2, what does the setting tell us about the characters and so forth, right? So we have a bunch of guiding questions. Go ahead and turn to page 5 and 6 in your packet. Right at the top, you don't have to do this. So yes, we have vocabulary words, but we're not gonna really focus on that because you guys are doing Membing anyway. Right, so you have 3 sessions of Membing per week. How many of you guys are done with your sessions already? Anybody? Oh, very good, Taya. Very good. So try to get them done 1 per day. Okay, let's move on to page 9. So page 9 is where you're going to be collecting memorable quotes. These memorable quotes will be used in your responses. So I would suggest you select wisely. So on the left-hand side, you're going to write down the quote and the page number, and then the analysis on the right-hand side. Every once in a while, I'll ask you to take a picture of, like, for example, page 10, and you're gonna upload that to Canvas, all right? So just be on the lookout for that. You need to make sure that when you do take a picture of like your work, that your face is, part of your face is part of the picture, okay? Make sense? Like that. Or if you're more important than your work, then your whole face, you can show your whole face. Okay. All right, that'd be kind of weird though. Okay, let's move on. So turn the page and go to page 13. So page 13 starts basically the guiding questions for each section. So as you guys see, A Woman on the Street is the first section, right? That's the section in New York City. And then it moves on to the desert, okay? Battle Mountain, you're gonna have to Google Earth that. That is a crazy place. Okay. All right, and then Welsh. We're gonna spend some time in the Appalachian Mountains. All right, so basically what I did was I just walked you through this packet, no big deal. Anybody have questions about this packet? Pretty straightforward. Now you got to read up to page 101. Okay, next. If you guys can go back to your Canvas, and then we're going to wrap up class. So in the modules, what we have here is we have modules 1.1. Okay, you have a discussion that's due, and then the CER practice assignment. So the CER practice assignment is going to be kind of like a two-part thing, where you're probably going to have to write down your response first and then read it on camera. What we want to do is we want to practice using Canvas in other ways. So how are you going to upload this video? Well, there's many ways you can do it. So for example, how many of you guys know how to upload a video to YouTube? How many of you guys know how to upload a video to Google Drive? Okay, all you have to do is like upload the file basically, and then you can rename it as your video. What you're gonna do is you're gonna take that link and drop it into the assignment, okay? So although you're gonna be writing out a CER, you're going to be reading it out loud, right? So that we can practice using the different functions of Canvas. Okay, real easy. Okay, any questions of what's due? Okay, raise your hand if you have to finish last week's assignment. Okay, do it. Raise your hand if you're just gonna read and then work on this week's assignment. Raise your hand because you're sure. Just joking. Okay, so what we're gonna be doing is the days we don't have class on cohort B, what should you guys be doing? And then I'll tell the class what they're supposed to be doing. Since we're not really meeting on cohort B, what should you be doing during that time?
Our work.
Right, your work, all right? And then if you have questions, I'm gonna be at my computer waiting for you guys to email me. And then I just email you right back, okay? Or if you need more help and you wanna Zoom, we can Zoom, all right? Okay, so anyway, email me if you ever need help, okay? If you need further explanation on something, or if you don't know how to use Canvas, then email me, I'll help you, okay? All right, Miao, how you doing? You good?
I'm good.
Yeah, gotta read. Okay, all the way up to page 101. Get your assignments done in module 1.1. Okay, you guys, don't forget to membean and wash your hands and stay safe. Okay, bye.